Now, you guys took a favorite of mine, Mouth, and sent Millicent off. Now, are you sending them off to a spinoff, or what are we going to do with them?
Yeah, we're going to do the Mouth, Millicent, Jamie spinoff.
All right. Cool.
No,
MMJ.
Jamie's going nowhere, by the way.
Yeah.
No, you know, I love the idea of career versus relationship when you're young.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you feel like it's now or never. And I remember feeling that energy. You know, I didn't make my first film until I was well into my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, at the time, I was around a lot of filmmakers who were really young.
Right.
And I think I was 30 actually. And I always worried when I was in my 20s, if I didn't do it now, I wouldn't have the opportunity to do it.
Right.
And I think that we put pressure on ourselves once we're out of school that we need to conquer the world right now. And so the compelling tale for me with Millicent and Mouth was, you know, does he feel that pressure? You know, we know that he has this opportunity to do something he's been wanting to do all of his life, to be a sports announcer and to be at a station and be the main guy.
Right.
And what does that mean for his relationships? And is he going to miss Tree Hill? I mean, chances are good that he's coming back, right?
Hope so.
I don't think that's a big spoiler, you know? When he comes back and why he comes back are compelling to me.
Okay.
And does Millicent come with him, or does this journey take its toll on their relationship?
That's the mystery you could solve for me.
I could, but you know, I've never been very forthcoming.
I know, and you're already 12 episodes in. You spilled that, so I'm just going to say it. All right. At what point?
At script.
At script.
I think we're shooting episode 7 right now.
7. So you're 7 episodes on film, and when did you know Carrie was coming back? Because she kind of disappeared.
You know, I have to say, we have a writer's room, and it's full of really smart, contrary to what the fans say sometimes, really smart, really passionate writers. I mean, the writers love the show as much or more than anyone.
Okay.
And all they do every day is come into the office and talk about One Tree Hill.
Oh, yeah.
And try to figure out storylines for One Tree Hill. And one of the storylines, at the end of last season, we were in the room, and it was, I think it was actually a joke pitch that Mike Daniels had. He's one of the writers on staff, and he said something about, you know, what if Nanny Carrie got her hooks into Dan?
All right.
And we started talking about it, and there's a reason when I shot, you know, I directed the finale, and I shot the car hitting Dan.
Okay.
And some fans were bothered by the fact that, well, wouldn't the car see him? Wouldn't it have slowed down? Wouldn't it?
It went pretty fast.
Well, see, when I directed it, I knew that the driver didn't want to slow down.
Right.
And there's a reason that nobody got out of the car, and you know, none of that, because I knew that it was Nanny Carrie in that car.
There you go. He knew it.
So,
finale
look,
of 5.
I know that that's a very soapy storyline. I know that it's Misery-esque, which I was a fan of. I think that you balance the quiet moments of the show, the heartfelt moments of the show. For me, I like to balance them with something that's a little more ramped up and accelerated and heightened. And for me, having Dan open the door and finding out he wasn't in a hospital room and he was in the middle of nowhere, that's the more sort of soapy, heightened side of One Tree Hill, but I think it gives the audience good balance. And there's some people that do watch the show as a guilty pleasure. It's not how we design it. But if they do, I gotta believe they love that storyline. As a matter of fact, I got a bunch of emails last night saying people didn't see it coming, and they find that it's like really delicious. And you know, I think there's a place for that in One Tree Hill.
Yeah, I was thinking like, how did she become a nurse and whatever, and then and you sold it really well too. How showing the little clips of her dragging him out, and just.
I mean, the hospital room with the paint and the wallpaper. She has a line where she says, "That was just to mess with your head." I believe that. I believe she'd go out of her way to, you know, if Dan would have never gotten out, he would have thought he was in a hospital room the whole time.
Exactly.
And you know, and that would have been, you know, in her best interest. So, but I like stuff like that. I think it's juicy, and I think it balances, like I said, the heartfelt stuff.